second season of the DT Sports Report. I'm John Arnold with Alex Ibarra, joined by sports editor Adam Coleman. We never thought we'd make it this far, but here we are, here at the Sports Report again. It's football season, and of course we'll be talking about that. But first, let's talk about a little bit of volleyball and soccer. AC, you just spoke to head coach Trish Knight of the volleyball team. What's she talking about? The volleyball team was not the greatest last year, but this year they got a lot of enthusiasm with the new head coach. How's it going over there?
Yeah, definitely. They're still struggling, but, the main thing that Trish Knight is trying to change is the attitude of this team. And, when you have a team that doesn't get any conference wins last year, that's the number one thing you have to change is the attitude. But she keeps on harping on that. She did tell me, it's not an overnight project, but she also told me it'll take some time. She does have the right players. You talk about Amanda Dowdy moving to outside hitter. She was the team's best player last year. She's getting maybe about 8 kills a game, and she's really standing out. But this team, they're working towards success, and we'll see what they'll do this weekend against Gonzaga, Stephen F. Austin, and Tulsa.
Another team that she might be able to use the blueprint for kind of is the soccer team. They were in that same place, not being one of the best teams in the Big 12, and all of a sudden they're making that transition with Coach Tom Stone. They played in UTEP 2 weekends ago and in the Metroplex this past weekend. How are they doing, Alex?
They're doing good. They're 3-2 right now, one of the best offensive teams in the Big 12 Conference. Haven't really started conference play yet, but they lead the Big 12 in goals scored and they lead in points, have a lot of assists, great possession down in the final third, really capitalizing on those opportunities with good crisp passing from midfielders Don Ward, Taylor Lytle, and good ball striking as well. But they're going to be tested this weekend. They're going to go to Vanderbilt, and they're going to have to play a number 25 team. But Soccer America just ranked Vanderbilt number 25. They just cracked that. Oklahoma lost to Vanderbilt last week. Oklahoma was undefeated. So Vanderbilt, definitely a good team. Tech has its work cut out for it this weekend.
Be a big test for Texas Tech soccer this weekend against Vanderbilt. They'll come home next weekend, and we'll talk about that and volleyball, of course, on the DT Sports Report in the future. But let's talk some football now. As everyone knows, Texas Tech won their opener against North Dakota. Wasn't the best game that anyone could ask for, but also wasn't the worst game. Taylor Potts made his first start, threw 3 picks, and he kind of took it a little hard on himself, AC.
Yeah, we're looking at a guy who's really maybe trying too hard, really trying to lead this team, really trying to fit the stereotypical leader of this team. Maybe overthrowing his coverages a little bit, maybe making a few bad decisions. He threw 3 interceptions to the same dude from North Dakota, which is something I probably haven't seen in a while. But he's one good thing about him. He works real hard to correct his mistakes. Right on Monday, he was right in the film room with Sonny Cumbie, really trying to see what he did wrong. Leach talks about how he's a little bit anxious at times. So we'll see what he does, but I think he'll be a little bit better.
Now let's see what Potts said after the game on Saturday about his performance.
Honestly, I feel like I held this offense back. I think I was responsible for holding us back on offense. I did a lot of things. I know I shouldn't do, and a lot of things I know, that kind of aren't my style or my technique.
So as you can see, Potts making that commitment to try and come back out this weekend a little bit harder. Rice is a team kind of in the same position as Tech. They had a award-winning quarterback in Chase Clement. He was All-Conference USA, the Conference USA MVP last year, and they're having a little bit of trouble replacing him. They went with a dual quarterback system against UAB. That didn't work out all that well. They lost 44-24 on Saturday, and the offense wasn't good, but the defense wasn't too good either.
No, it didn't look good for Rice after such high expectations were built up during the offseason. Like you said, really coming off a great year, kind of like Texas Tech. But this Rice team is definitely still searching for answers. Offensively, they have to make up for Chase Clement with 2 quarterbacks, and that's Nick Vanuzzi and John Thomas Shepard. Both of those guys played against UAB. And Shepard, 6 carries, 48 yards, went 10 for 22 with an interception and 81 yards through the air. And Vanuzzi, who Coach David Bailiff said is going to start against Texas Tech, Shepard started against UAB, so we're going to see a little bit of a switch there. Vanuzzi, 3 carries, 7 yards, and a touchdown. Not necessarily as good as Shepard on the ground, but through the air, that's where he won the starting role this week. He went 12 for 20, 154 yards with a touchdown. So you can kind of see why Coach David Bailiff wants to go with that role.
Well, if there's ever a time for Tech to try and get Baron Batch, Harrison Jeffers, Eric Stevens more carries, it's probably Saturday.
Yeah, I think so. Rice's defense gave up 295 yards rushing on the ground. They gave up a Conference USA record 191 yards to Joe Webb. So, if Texas Tech really wants to get Batch and Jeffers in this game, this is it.
Well, we'll see if they go to the running game a little bit more, and we'll also see how Taylor Potts performs. We talked a little bit about how he wants to improve on Saturday. What else do the Red Raiders have to do Saturday to improve on their game?
One thing that I saw is that, Leach mentioned this too, the running backs, they really didn't tend to the blitzes and really not giving Taylor Potts enough time to throw the ball. And another thing that you want to see is, how's the secondary going to do? Leach also mentioned that they weren't really tested enough. You got a lot of new faces back there, 2 young faces right there with Franklin Mitchum and Cody Davis. And against Rice, they run the spread. They'll definitely throw the ball a little bit more. So that'll be one thing that everybody wants to see. Offensive line, you want to see a little bit of improvement there too. But it's a few areas they need to work on before they face Texas.
All right, well, that about does it for us. Thanks for joining us on the first episode of this season of the DT Sports Report. Adam Coleman, thanks for stopping by. We always like having him around. Alex Ibarra, as always, you can email us, dtonlineeditor@gmail.com. You can hit us up on Twitter. You can leave a comment on YouTube on the article. We want you to be involved with the show, so let us know what you think. Let us know if you have a question. Thanks for watching. I'll see you game time 6 o'clock at the Jones. See you Saturday.